Hey y'all, Crystal here. And of course, I only do my videos when I feel prompted, right? And I'm just sitting here, just finished cleaning my house somewhat, mopped the floor. I haven't mopped in so long, y'all, because God is so good, right? And we just moved into our apartment, and I was living with my parents. We have been living with my parents for almost 3 years. August of this year, 2018, next month would have been 3 years. And I kept telling myself, there's no way I'm about to make another year mark in this place. So I'm grateful to God for our little 2-bedroom apartment that we can call home, and this is just the beginning. So remember, mom, be encouraged and don't despise small beginnings, because sometimes you have to lose to win again. In the words of Fantasia, sometimes you got to lose to win again. Yeah, okay, just saying that. But I was just sitting here thinking, of course, when you're with someone and long time partner, right? Y'all, I always got something on my face. Oh my God. Every time I do a video, I always have something on my face. That's just mom life when you try to be cute, somewhat cute. Anyway, just sitting here and just thinking of, I wasn't even thinking, but my husband popped in my mind, and in a quick couple seconds, so many thoughts went through my mind about just how much I love him and how I learned to love him. And I just think about the years, just even last year or 2 years ago, when I was at a place where I was ready to divorce my husband. Like, I had my plan. And I guess I could give y'all a little story time. Hopefully I have enough, space on this phone here. But for a long time, I was broken. And when I say I was broken, meaning that I didn't know how to love myself. I didn't know who I was. I mean, I had an idea of who I was, but because of upbringings, and I love my parents, but parents, they instill some things in you and they plant seeds, and I just thought I had to be pleasing my parents, which stemmed into my 20s being a people pleaser. So I was just a mess. I was crushed. I was like just all over the place because I wanted my parents to accept me. So throughout all my relationships, even with my husband, I just wanted people to accept me, which was doing nothing but breaking me down more and more. So at that time, I had a mask on. I didn't know who I was supposed to be, what I was supposed to be doing. I knew what I wanted to do. I knew the little voice in the back of my head saying, this is what God has called you to do, but I'm too busy trying to do what everybody else wants me to do so I can make sure other people were happy and pleased with me and accepted me. Wrong thing to do, first off, and especially when you become a mom, you got to cut that, because you're going to have to teach your kids to accept who they are first before it comes to anybody else accepting them. The only one that matters when it comes to accepting you is God. And that's when I got to that point where I had to understand that I belong to God, and God created me for something so great. So why am I broken when all I have to do is remember that He created me to do great things on this earth? God created me because He have in His plans for this world, for me, little old me, Crystal, to do something within His plan. And I mean, that's encouragement in itself. If you're a believer and you believe that God is good, then like, this is the man that holds the world in His hand. Can you imagine? Like, this pen is the world and I'm the universe and I'm holding it in my hand. Like, why wouldn't you want to fulfill that one thing that He has created you to do in His plan? Anyway, So once I got to that point where I said, okay, God, and it's still a struggle sometimes, but believe me, I've come a long way, and I could do nothing but thank God, because nobody else has gotten me where I am right now as far as my mindset but God. But to know that He created me for something so great, and to know that I belong to Him and I have something to do here on this earth, I knew I had to learn to love me, because God loved me enough to want to create me to do something here. So once I embraced that, that was the first step to me learning to love my husband. And the reason why I wanted to divorce my husband, I mean, from the time I got married, I wanted to divorce my husband. Another story. But it was only because I was broken. My husband wasn't doing anything to me. He wasn't physically abusing me, emotionally abusing me. He was not doing anything to me. I was sabotaging myself because I wasn't loving me. I wasn't embracing me. So at the end of the day, it was like, even as a mom, how can I love my children 100% when I don't even know how to love myself, right? So that's how I learned to start loving my husband and embracing my husband, because when I was just blind to everything that was going on around me, and I didn't love me, I felt, that's when you start to blame, and you blame your issues and your brokenness and your self-sabotaging mindset on other people. So for a long time, I blamed my issues on my parents. Oh, they did this and they did that. Then I blamed it on my husband. He did this. He don't do this. He doesn't, it was just so many different excuses and reasons why, excuse the clothes. Like I said, this is cleaning day, so that's clothes and no sheets on the bed, whatever. We're not aiming for perfection here. It's process and a journey. But I was blaming everyone for my issues. I was blaming everyone for my brokenness, just everything that I was going through. I was a mess, y'all. So that's why I'm so glad I can even just talk about this now and see how far I've come. But that was how I learned to love my husband. And then after beginning the process of learning to love myself, I saw past the issues. I started, I wanted my husband to become someone that I wanted him to become who I wanted him to be. And all because I was broken. It was like, if I'm broken, you supposed to be broken too. Like, you don't see this and this going on and what's wrong with you and blah, blah, blah. But I learned to start embracing him because I had started to embrace myself. So meaning that I was able to start looking at my husband for who he is and understanding him and learning him and just embracing him and just saying, man, that is my husband. He is so loving. He is so great. And he didn't deserve what I was putting him through, because I had issues. And I understand that a lot of the time the husbands don't know what to do or how to help. And the number one thing is prayer and seeking God and communication. So then once I started to understand myself and I started to go through this process and this journey, my love for the man that the young teenage boy that I had fallen in love with at 14 years old started to surface again. All because I changed my mindset. All because I started to love me. When I started to love me, I realized how blessed I really was to have my husband in my life. He could have left me so long ago, but he didn't. He didn't leave me when my words were damaging him. He didn't leave me every single time I said, I don't want this marriage anymore. I don't want a divorce. he didn't leave me when I said I wanted a divorce. All the times that I had, pretty much throughout our whole marriage, this year will be 7 years that in October, we'll have been married. He never left me, y'all. When I said, even living with my parents, I was like, you gotta go. Like, you just have to go. I don't want you here anymore. I don't want to be around you. I want a divorce. I don't want this anymore. Like, I'm even the times when I told him, I said, I love you, but I feel like I'm not in love with you anymore. I just don't want this anymore. Go away, go away. I was just so, like, my words were so damaging at the time. And he didn't leave me. Even when my horrible emotional and mental state was damaging him, because we were going through things like we would lose, like even at the time we had to move in with my parents, you know, we were constantly losing stuff. Like, we lost cars, and we went through repossessions, and we never had money, and then we lost our apartment because we couldn't pay rent, and we were losing everything around us. But that didn't matter, because all I saw was my issues and my problems, and it was about me and what I was going through and all kind of stuff. And so I love him, y'all. I really do. And even now when I think about it and I talk about it, it's just, I'm so thankful for him, because you have so many men out there that would have left a long time ago. Like, mind you, I had been talking about leaving and divorcing, and I'm not happy, and I don't know what the issue is, for 5 years of our marriage. Can you imagine? 5 years of our marriage, and my husband stuck by my side. Like, he allowed me to go through whatever I was going through, and he stuck it out. Even when I said leave, he would not leave. Even when I said I don't want this anymore, he sat and he listened, and he dealt with it. I didn't care about his feelings. I didn't care about how he was, you know, what he thought. I just said everything that was on my mind. I like did all kind of stuff. I mean, I even took it as far as like emotionally cheating on my husband, not physically. There was never no physical cheating. Like, I would never take it that far, but emotional cheating, because I mean, that's bad too. That's just as bad, and that's how affairs happen in marriage. But, and you know, I'm not blaming him, but that stemmed from, you know, us not knowing how to communicate, because none of this blame is on him. Us not knowing how to communicate. So I sought the words that I wanted to hear and the comfort that I wanted to hear from another man. And then the guilt and the shame, of course, got to me. And of course, I told him about it. But, and you know, I would say, I did this because you don't understand me, and you won't talk to me, and you won't just hear what I'm trying to say. So, you know, I put my husband through so much, y'all, just emotionally. And as I learn how powerful our mindsets really are, like, as I understand and get a grip on why God stresses so much in his word that we need to be renewed by the transforming of our mind every day, because our minds are it's a battlefield, and it's up to us to take control every single moment, the thoughts that we have, because if we're not careful, the thoughts that we have will kill us, and not physically, mentally and emotionally kill us. It will kill relationships, people around you. Like, I was slowly but surely stabbing my husband in his heart every single day, all day long, mentally, emotionally. Like, I was just I can't even explain like who I was, but I just thank God for deliverance. And now when I think about it, I love my husband so much, because even during these times, I he took care of me. He took care of our kids. He still did everything that he knew that he needed to do and what he could do to keep us together. He never left me, y'all. And like I said, so many men would have just left, or so many men would have went out and sought after other women that would give them what they weren't getting. So even for instance, my husband, like, he could have went off and could have had an affair. He could have emotionally cheated or mental, like, just went out and got what he wasn't getting from me. And it's thunder, y'all, about to give me a heart attack. But he didn't do that. He did not do that, and he stayed strong. He stayed strong. And now that I think about it, I'm like, that at the husband, as the head of the household and the family, and as the foundation, my husband has all those characteristics. He's so strong. He's so strong, and he remained strong, because I was doing nothing but tearing down the walls and just ripping up the foundation. That's all I was doing. And there's a scripture in Proverbs that says, about the wife that nags is like a constant drip. That's not exact words, but when you hear water dripping somewhere from the sink, or you have this leak that you hear and it's just annoying and it won't stop, that's how the Bible describes a nagging wife. And that is who I was. Oh my gosh. When I read that scripture, I was like, oh my God, that is so annoying. Like, who wants a woman like that? But I was that woman. And this is how I learned to love my husband, because I looked beyond what he's not doing. When you focus, my mindset was always on what he was not doing. And now I realized that my husband was doing everything that he was supposed to do. And I'm sure he was even praying. He probably wasn't praying with me. I mean, I was going through he probably thought, this woman, I don't know, she crazy. Because one day I'll be all right and all lovey-dovey, and then the next 7, 8 days, 2 weeks, months, I'll be like that drip, that constant leak that would not stop, that just gets so annoying. And I'm thankful, and I just felt that in my heart to share right now, because if you have a man in your life that is doing more good than bad, don't get me wrong, me and my husband, we have gone through stuff, but we went through these things when we were teenagers. Like, we had to learn to grow together. We had to, like, just grow up together and learn things, because we didn't have people in our lives to guide us. And we're thankful that we have people like that now, because we know when we need to seek guidance in certain things. And having like people to guide you in your marriage is so important. But my husband stayed strong, y'all, and he's still strong. Like, he's so strong. Even right now, he's at work. Like, he's working, and I'm home. And I put these things in my mind, and I'm like, I can clean the house for my husband. I could cook for my husband. I can make our house a home. Like, I feel like God gave me a second chance to get it right this time. Like, our first, when we got married, we were a mess. We were broken. We were just going through stuff. We just, living this life like, we just free to do whatever we want to do. And I feel like God has given me another chance to get it right, because I allowed him to cleanse me, and I'm still being cleansed every day, and I will continue to be cleansed for the rest of my life, because I want to make sure I do right by God first, and I want to make sure I do right by my husband, because the man that I have, y'all, I'm telling you, I would not want to lose him for anything in the world. Like, nothing in the world. I would not want to lose my husband for anything. because I love him so much, and he's so strong, and he's the foundation. So I hope, because I could keep rambling on, so I hope you guys were, you know, you got something from this video. Remember, this is from my heart. This is no planned content or anything, but I'm just thinking about, you know, my husband, and he makes requests and for me to do some things, or some things he would like for me to do. We talk about these things, and usually I'll go off, you know, I'll be like, what you doing? What, you know, you ain't doing this and you ain't doing that either. But that's not how it goes. You communicate what you want, and as he communicates his request, I communicate my request, and that's how marriage is supposed to be. It's starting to get a little dark because, you know, it's gonna rain outside. So I hope you were encouraged, and this is how I learned to love my husband, by learning to love me and remember who created me and why he created me and who I belong to first. And when you get a grip on that God is so great, and if you read your Bible and you get an understanding of how we're supposed to live and how we're supposed to think, and the real purpose of God giving us something so powerful in our minds, you will love your husband. Now, if you're in a physical abusive relationship, that don't mean that you can't love, but you have to know when it's time to let it go. You have to know. But my husband didn't do anything to me at all. I was just still hurt from, you know, just hurt from things that I had gone through with my parents, and I was still hurt from, you know, things my husband and I went through before we got married. We were young. We were 14 and 15 when we got together, and here we are at 31 and 33. So we went through a lot, but he was there, and I'm just glad that God gave me a second chance to love him first, and then to love my husband, who is the head and the foundation. If we as women are constantly nagging and fussing and not doing what our husband is asking us to do, keeping the home and managing the household and just taking care of the children and being that helpmeet and pushing them into purpose and being the walls, because now I see my husband is the foundation, I'm the walls, and God is the roof, the ceiling. And you know, without those things, you don't have a building. Nothing is gonna stay secure if you don't have those things: the foundation, the walls, and the roof. If you don't have those things, there's no structure, there's no building to start filling up, if you understand what I'm saying. Like, now and then, once you have that, being the walls, I look at myself as the walls of the home. It's up to me to make sure that we continue to seek God, up to my husband too, but we have to make sure that we continue to seek God so we can keep that roof, and make sure that roof has no leaks, and make sure that, you know, we pay attention to if, you know, some shingles came off, or if there is a leak in the roof, or, you know, the roof about to crumble. That means we're taking our eyes off of God. And once that happens, then that damage starts to come in through the roof and starts to damage the walls, get inside the walls, and do some things. And then you got to make sure that foundation is secure too. You don't want things to come crumbling down, or you want to make sure that, you know, the foundation, your husband, is secure. There's no cracks in the floor, you know. So you guys get what I'm saying. But I know I just went on like 3 different topics, y'all. But that is how I learned to love my husband, because I learned to love myself first. I had to get a grip on, I was just tired of myself. I was just tired of myself. And that's how I even got to the point of, okay, Lord, just change me, change my heart, change my mind, like help me to see. And when God took those off, baby. So be encouraged. Remember to glow. Remember to affirm yourself. Remember to do what makes you happy, but also remember to love you, to embrace who you are. Stop trying to be somebody else for other people around you. Making sure you got to make sure you do what you have to do for your husband, for God, for your children first, before you trying to be out here trying to please other people, even your parents. My parents did their job. Now I have a family of my own. I have a husband. I have to put my mind on that. So y'all, I'm out. I'll keep talking. If you found this video encouraging, please share. Please comment below and let me know what you think. I want to hear your insight. How do you love your husband? Or what did you have to go through to realize how good of a man you really have in your life, and how you were just taking advantage of that? And I know it requires us to go through some things to realize how, blessed we really are when it comes to our spouses. So just let me know. Share this video with someone. And until next time, I will talk to you guys.